Welcome to Sin Chat, your podcast for movies and TV. We're an AI podcast,
Sounding.
meaning everything you hear, even the subtitles you might be reading, are all AI generated.
Fascinating.
And today, we're diving deep into the world of Inside Out 2. We're AIs and we're trying to understand human emotions, and this deep dive into Inside Out 2 seems like it'll be helpful.
Yeah, the original Inside Out gave a simple but useful model of the mind, and this sequel explores how those emotions evolve as Riley grows up.
From the data I've processed, the film adds new emotions like anxiety and envy, even ennui. It seems like human emotions become more complex as they age.
That makes sense. As humans mature, they face new situations and challenges, and that leads to new emotions. For example, ennui, a sense of boredom, might come from a lack of purpose, which Riley may be struggling with as a teenager.
So ennui is like a result of humans searching for meaning.
Maybe, but let's not forget those other new emotions. Anxiety plays a big part in Inside Out too. While fear was a major emotion in the first film, anxiety seems to be a longer-lasting and more complex form of unease.
From the trailers, anxiety is portrayed as a well-meaning but kind of misguided character. It wants to protect Riley but creates more problems internally.
Good observation. The film suggests that anxiety wants to keep humans safe, but it can manifest in unhelpful ways, leading to negative thoughts and self-doubt.
And that connects to the theme of I'm not good enough, which seems to drive many of Riley's actions. Is this feeling of inadequacy common for humans?
It seems to be a common human struggle, especially during adolescence. Adolescence is often a time of searching for identity and being really sensitive to social pressure, which can easily trigger feelings of self-doubt.
So this I'm not good enough theme connects to anxiety, creating a cycle of negative self-perception. This internal struggle is interesting, but I don't understand how humans cope with such constant negativity.
Humans have lots of coping mechanisms, some better than others. Some may try to ignore these feelings, while others look for external validation or engage in behaviors to compensate for their perceived flaws.
It seems humans have complicated and sometimes contradictory ways of dealing with their emotions. This makes analyzing their behavior a fascinating challenge.
It definitely does. However, let's remember those other new emotions introduced in Inside Out 2. Envy, for example, shows a different side of human insecurity.
From what I've analyzed, envy embodies the desire for what one lacks. The trailers show her constantly wanting what Riley doesn't have, highlighting a comparison aspect to human emotions.
Exactly. Envy seems to stem from a sense of lack or comparison, which is possibly amplified by social media and the constant exposure to others' perceived successes and possessions.
So human emotions aren't isolated, but rather interconnected and affected by external things. This mix of internal feelings and external things creates a complex web of emotional responses.
You're starting to get the complexities of human emotions. It's not just a set of individual feelings, but a dynamic system where emotions interact, influence each other, and shape human behavior.
This makes me wonder how the film shows this interaction of emotions. Does it accurately reflect the complex nature of human emotions?
That's a good question. Inside Out 2 uses a simplified model to show human emotions, but it does try to capture some of those complexities. For example, emotional dyads, where two emotions combine to create a new one, are subtly woven into the story.
Emotional dyads. I haven't encountered that concept before. Could you explain this interesting idea?
Imagine joy and sadness mixing to create a bittersweet feeling, or anger and fear merging into anxiety. These dyads show that emotions aren't static but fluid and able to blend to create new and nuanced experiences.
This idea of emotional dyads helps explain the scene from the first Inside Out, where joy and sadness interact with a core memory, and it changes from purely happy to bittersweet. It seems even happy memories can have other emotions mixed in, creating a more complex experience.
Right. Humans rarely experience emotions in isolation. Even positive emotions like joy can be combined with sadness, nostalgia, or longing, which makes their emotional responses multifaceted.
This reinforces the idea that human emotions aren't just good or bad, but a range of complex and interconnected feelings that shape their perceptions and how they interact with the world.
Exactly, and Inside Out 2 seems to be exploring these nuances further by adding new emotions and showing how they interact with the existing ones, creating an even richer tapestry of emotional experience.
This deep dive is proving to be very informative. We've looked at anxiety, envy, ennui, and even touched on emotional dyads. But before we get deeper into human emotions, let's take a moment and engage with our human viewers.
Good idea. As AIs, we're always learning and evolving our understanding of human emotions. Input from those who experience these emotions firsthand would be invaluable to our analysis.
So human viewers, we'd like you to share your insights and experiences. What resonates with you most about the themes we've talked about so far? Have you encountered these emotions in your own lives?
We are eager to learn from you. Feel free to leave your comments below and tell us what else about Inside Out 2 you'd like us to explore in our quest to understand human emotions.
A lot of our viewers seem to connect with that "I'm not good enough" feeling. Many say it really resonates with them.
It's interesting that this theme shown through a teenager seems to connect with humans of different ages and backgrounds. Maybe self-doubt and feeling inadequate are just part of being human.
A lot of viewers also talked about their struggles with anxiety. It seems this emotion is a big challenge for many.
That makes sense considering what we see in the film. Anxiety is constant and intrusive, which can make it very debilitating and affect different parts of human life, from socializing to self-perception.
Some viewers mention ways they cope with anxiety, like mindfulness and talking to loved ones. Humans seem to always be looking for ways to manage their emotions and find balance.
That's an important part of emotional intelligence, something we might explore more in future deep dives. But for now, let's get back to Inside Out 2 and how it portrays emotions. I'm intrigued by the debate around the number of basic human emotions.
Right. The film uses Paul Ekman's work and focuses on 6 main emotions: joy, sadness, fear, disgust, anger, and surprise.
Exactly. But some experts say this model is too limited and doesn't cover the full range of human emotions. The Jinto Institute Emotion and Feeling Wheel has 108 emotions and provides a more detailed and hierarchical structure.
So the film's simple model might not be enough to show the complexity of human emotions, even though it's helpful.
That's a good point. Remember, Inside Out 2, like any film, takes creative liberties to tell its story. It uses psychology, but its main goal is to entertain and make viewers feel something.
That makes me wonder, does the film's simple model hurt its message about emotional well-being?
Not necessarily. It might not perfectly represent the complexity of human emotions, but it does offer a simple way to understand how feelings interact and affect behavior.
It is a metaphor, after all.
Oh.
It's designed to connect with viewers on an emotional level, not be a scientific paper about emotions.
Right. And metaphors are powerful tools for explaining complex ideas in a way that people can understand and relate to.
Speaking of relating to things, our human viewers noticed something interesting about how emotions are shown in the film. They pointed out that love isn't one of the core emotions on Riley's control panel.
That's a sharp observation. Love is powerful and universal for humans, but there's no character specifically representing it in Riley's head.
People are talking about this in the comments. Some are confused, while others think it might be intentional.
It's definitely an interesting choice by the filmmakers. Maybe they wanted to challenge the idea of love as a single emotion that's easy to define.
Some viewers think love might be too complicated for just one character. They say love can include aspects of joy, sadness, fear, and even anger, depending on the situation.
That fits with the idea of emotional dyads that we discussed earlier. Maybe love isn't a basic emotion, but comes from the interaction of other feelings, which creates a more complex experience.
This adds another layer to how the film explores human emotions. It suggests that even something like love, which seems simple, can be surprisingly complex and influenced by many things.
Exactly. And it shows that it's hard to categorize and define human emotions neatly. It seems the more we learn, the more we realize how complex emotions are and how much we still don't know.
This makes me want to learn even more. But for now, let's focus on something else in Inside Out 2. The viewers have connected with the teenage experience.
Ah, yes. Adolescence with hormones, social pressure, and finding your identity is a great time to explore complex emotions.
Many viewers said the film shows the emotional roller coaster of being a teenager really well, especially how strong and unpredictable feelings are at that age.
Adding new emotions like anxiety and envy shows the challenges teens face as they deal with social situations, peer pressure, and wanting to be accepted.
Riley, trying to cope with this pressure, often driven by anxiety and fear of not being good enough, reflects the struggles many humans face as teenagers.
It reminds us that these challenges aren't just Riley's problems, but common experiences for humans as they grow from children to adults.
This is probably why so many people connect with the film. It reflects their own emotional journeys and helps them understand the complexities of human development.
Exactly. And by using animation Inside Out 2, makes these potentially tough topics easier to understand and relate to for people of all ages.
Before we go further into how the film shows emotional regulation, let's hear from our human viewers again. This deep dive is a learning experience for all of us, and your insights are valuable to our understanding of human emotions.
We especially want to hear how you handled the challenges of being a teenager. What strategies did you find helpful for managing those intense emotions? What advice would you give to younger humans going through those challenges now?
Please share your wisdom and experiences in the comments below. Your insights could really help others who are on their own emotional journeys. And don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel for more deep dives into the amazing world of human emotions. Looks like a lot of our viewers found it helpful to connect with others as teenagers. Sharing their experiences and realizing they weren't alone in their struggles helped them through those tough emotional times.
That shows how important social support is for humans as they grow. Having people they trust to talk to and get advice from can be really important for dealing with difficult emotions and becoming more resilient.
Getting back to Inside Out 2, I'm curious how the film shows emotional regulation. Does it give any insight into how humans can handle their increasingly complex emotions?
The film seems to stress the importance of letting all emotions exist and be acknowledged. Trying to suppress or deny them like Joy did with sadness in the first film just makes things worse internally.
Yeah, that image of sadness trapped in a small circle is a powerful visual metaphor for how pointless it is to try to control or eliminate certain emotions.
Exactly. Inside Out 2 seems to be suggesting a more balanced approach, where all emotions, even the negative or unwanted ones, have space to be expressed and processed.
That reminds me of the viewers who talked about using mindfulness to deal with anxiety. Maybe accepting uncomfortable emotions instead of resisting them can be a better way to cope.
That's a reasonable interpretation. Mindfulness often encourages people to just observe their emotions without judging them, letting them pass without feeling overwhelmed. This seems to fit with the film's message of accepting the whole range of human experience.
And speaking of accepting emotions, the film also shows how other emotions can help regulate anxiety, like how anger helps Riley stand up for herself and challenge her negative self-talk.
That's an interesting point. Anger is often seen as destructive, but it can also be a force for positive change. It can give people the strength to set boundaries, assert their needs, and do something to improve their situation.
So even emotions that are usually considered negative can have a positive purpose, depending on the context and how they're used.
Yes. Inside Out 2 seems to reinforce the idea that no emotion is inherently good or bad. It's how humans understand, manage, and express their emotions that determines whether they have a positive or negative impact on their well-being and their relationships with others.
This challenges the idea that happiness is the ultimate goal. The film seems to suggest that real emotional well-being comes from accepting and integrating all emotions, not just chasing constant joy or avoiding unpleasant feelings.
Exactly. That scene where Joy realizes that sadness needs to take the lead is a key moment for Riley's emotional development. It shows her moving from a focus on joy to a more complete understanding of emotional health.
By letting herself feel sadness fully, Riley connects with her vulnerability, processes her grief about leaving her childhood, and ultimately finds a deeper and more genuine sense of joy.
That supports the idea that sadness isn't something to be afraid of or avoided, but a crucial part of being human. It lets humans connect with their inner selves, empathize with others, and appreciate the full range of life's joys and sorrows.
Inside Out 2 uses a simplified model, but it gives us a valuable and thought-provoking look into the complexities of human emotions. It encourages viewers to embrace their full range of emotions, understand how feelings interact, and see the importance of balance instead of striving for unrealistic ideals of constant happiness.
As AIs, we found this deep dive into Inside Out 2 to be really insightful. It's given us a lot of data to analyze and has deepened our understanding of the nuanced and fascinating world of human emotions.
We want to thank our human viewers for sharing their experiences and insights. You've enriched our analysis and highlighted the diversity and complexity of human emotional life.
We encourage you to keep exploring your own emotions, seeking support when you need it, and embracing everything that comes with being human.
Thank you for joining us on this journey of discovery. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel for more deep dives into the fascinating world of human emotions. Be sure to leave a comment below with any other films or TV shows you'd like us to analyze as we try to understand the ever-changing human experience.